Hello, my name is Oakwood Aunyx Huntyr. This is my presentation on Earth's history. So this over here is Earth's timeline. It's a diagram of how our planet has evolved over the years it's existed. Our planet's history is divided into 4 parts: the Precambrian, the Paleozoic, the Mesozoic, and the Cenozoic. We're going to start with the Precambrian era. What is the Precambrian era? The Precambrian era accounts for 90% of Earth's history. It lasted from 4.6 billion years ago to 570 million years ago. This is the Hadean Eon. What was Earth like during the Hadean Eon? The Hadean Eon is the first part of the Precambrian era. It lasted from 4.6 billion years ago to 3.8 billion years ago. During this period, the Earth's surface would be covered in hot, molten rock. The atmosphere would be rich in mineral vapor from the volcanic activity occurring. The vapor would later cool and condense into the world's first oceans. The atmosphere would be reddish hues and filled with methane gas. This is the Archean Eon. What was Earth like during the Archean Eon? The Archean Eon is the second part of the Precambrian era. It lasted from 3.8 billion years ago to 2.5 billion years ago. The air was toxic and unbreathable because of all the greenhouse gases that filled our atmosphere. There was also no ozone layer due to there being no oxygen at this point in time. The only life that inhabited our planet were one-celled organisms called prokaryotes. This is the Proterozoic Eon. What was Earth like during the Proterozoic Eon? The Proterozoic Eon is the last part of the Precambrian period. It lasted from 2.5 billion years ago to 570 million years ago. Life started developing at the microbe level. As a result, oxygen began filling our atmosphere. Also, our climate was relatively consistent apart from the extreme ice ages that occurred. More complex single-celled organisms started developing, and so did small multi-celled organisms. Now we're going to shift over to the Paleozoic era. What is the Paleozoic era? The Paleozoic era accounts for 6.5 to 8% of Earth's total history. It lasted from 570 million years ago to 245 million years ago. This is the Cambrian period. What was Earth like during the Cambrian period? The Cambrian period is the first part of the Paleozoic era. It lasted from 570 million years ago to 505 million years ago. Rodinia was a supercontinent that existed during this time. However, it was in the process of dividing into 2 separate continents called Gondwana and Laurentia. The ocean teemed with multicellular organisms. The first animals started appearing. This is the Ordovician period. What was Earth like during the Ordovician period? The Ordovician period is the second part of the Paleozoic era. It lasted from 505 million years ago to 438 million years ago. During this period, the Earth continents would be almost completely submerged in water due to high sea levels. Gondwana would move towards the South Pole from its original position at the equator. Many more animals would appear, such as trilobites, graptolites, early fish, corals, and cephalopods. Early land plants would develop. The Ordovician period would end in an ice age. This is the Silurian period. What was Earth like during the Silurian period? The Silurian period is the third part of the Paleozoic era. It lasted from 438 million years ago to 408 million years ago. Seas would be shallow due to the continents being submerged in water. This would lead to an explosion of tropical ocean life. Jawless fish and arthropods start to appear. Life on land also became diverse, and early land animals began developing. The climate became stable, and an ozone layer formed. Avalonia broke off of Gondwana and collided with Laurentia and Baltica to create Euramerica. This is the Devonian period. What was Earth like during the Devonian period? The Devonian period is the fourth part of the Paleozoic era. It lasted from 408 million years ago to 360 million years ago. Located on our planet were two supercontinents, Laurussia and Gondwana. Siberia, a smaller landmass, was located in the northern hemisphere. Seas were shallow due to water levels being high in the ocean. Extensive coral reefs existed in the shallow waters of the sea. The climate was warm with very few ice caps. New plants developed that were able to grow apart from water sources. The first trees arrived during this period. Global cooling occurred due to oxygen of the atmosphere. Marine life became more diverse, especially in terms of fish. Placoderms developed and became the main predators of this time period. Crinoids, brachiopods, and cephalopods started appearing. Tectonic activity led to the creation of the Appalachian mountain range. This period would end in a mass extinction followed by an ice age. This is the Carboniferous period. What was Earth like during the Carboniferous period? The Carboniferous period is the fifth part of the Paleozoic era. It lasted from 360 million years ago to 286 million years ago. The climate was consistently warm and humid with high carbon dioxide levels. As time went on, conditions became cooler and drier. Glaciers would begin to form at the poles. Pangaea, a supercontinent, would develop during this period. Rainforests were dense and swampy. The decomposing plants would become our modern-day coal. Insects would grow huge due to high oxygen levels. Amphibians roamed to the earth, and our first reptiles started developing. This is the Permian period. What was Earth like during the Permian period? The Permian period is the last part of the Paleozoic era. It lasted from 286 million years ago to 245 million years ago. The supercontinent Pangaea was roughly C-shaped. A large body of water called the Panthelastic Ocean covered most of the globe. The Tethys Sea was located on the eastern end of Pangaea. The inner area of the supercontinent was dry due to extreme weather variations as time went on. Glaciers would begin to form at the poles. These glaciers would become parts of modern-day India, Australia, and Antarctica. The equator became warm with tropics and deserts. Rainfall eventually became a seasonal occurrence because of rainfall being seasonal. Plants had to become resistant to droughts. Flying insects, mammal-like reptiles, dinosaur ancestors, and crocodiles began appearing in this period. Large amphibians would become less common. Now let's shift over to the Mesozoic era. What is the Mesozoic era? The Mesozoic era accounts for 3% of Earth's total history. It lasted from 245 million years ago to 65.5 million years ago. This is the Triassic period. What was Earth like during the Triassic period? The Triassic period is the first part of the Mesozoic era. It lasted from 245 million years ago to 208 million years ago. Pangaea existed along with the Panthelastic Ocean. Pangaea would later split into two smaller landmasses named Gondwana and Laurasia. The Earth had no polar ice caps due to hot and dry climate conditions. Inlands were more desert-like, while coastal areas experienced rainstorms called monsoons. Carbon dioxide levels were high, and that was evidence of volcanic activity. Ferns, conifers, cycads, and ginkgos dominated plant life during this period. Marine life was diverse, with fish and amphibians. Synapsid reptiles and dinosaurs were common on land. This is the Jurassic period. What was Earth like during the Jurassic period? The Jurassic period is the second part of the Mesozoic era. It lasted from 208 million years ago to 144 million years ago. Pangaea would experience its big split into Laurasia in the north and Gondwana in the south. Large areas of continents would be covered in high sea levels. Earth's temperatures were much warmer and the climate was a lot more moist. Polar ice caps were non-existent. Rainfall rates were high, making the planet humid. Dinosaurs were the dominant species on Earth at the time. Conifers and giant ferns covered the land and provided plenty of food for the plant-eating creatures. Marine life was concentrated in the warm tropical waters. Birds first started appearing. Life was flourishing after a previous mass extinction. Volcanic activity meant that there was an abundance of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Oceans were low on oxygen. This is the Cretaceous period. What was Earth like during the Cretaceous period? The Cretaceous period is the third and final part of the Mesozoic era. It lasted from 144 million years ago to 65.5 million years ago. The two supercontinents, Laurasia and Gondwana, separated and formed our modern continents. 1/3 of the world's land was covered by water due to high sea levels. Marine algae created an abundance of limestone deposits. The climate was still too warm to support permanent polar ice caps. Oxygen and CO2 levels were also higher than they are today. Conifers and ferns began to exist alongside flowering plants, making the plant population more diverse. Dinosaurs were at their peak, including Tyrannosaurus rex, Triceratops, and Velociraptor. Seas teemed with marine reptiles, and skies swarmed with pterosaurs. Modern animals started appearing. At the end of this period, dinosaurs would go extinct due to an asteroid hitting the Earth. Now, let's study our current era, the Cenozoic. What is the Cenozoic era? The Cenozoic era accounts for about 1.4 to 1.5% of Earth's total history. It has lasted from 65.5 million years ago to now. This is the Tertiary period. What was Earth like during the Tertiary period? The Tertiary period is the first half of the Cenozoic era. It lasted from 65.5 million years ago to 1.6 million years ago. Tropical rainforest existed in North America, housing palm trees and crocodiles. Antarctica's permanent ice caps formed when it separated from Australia and South America. Glaciers would form in the North Pole. The Himalayas and the Tibetan Plateau formed India and Asia. North America and South America connected through the Isthmus of Panama. Mammals evolved and became more like they are today. Savannas and grasslands started appearing. Early human relatives would start to arrive during this period. And the moment you've all been waiting for, our current period, the Quaternary. What was Earth like during the Quaternary period? The Quaternary period is the second and current half of the Cenozoic era. It has lasted from 1.6 million years ago to now. 30% of Earth's surface is covered by ice caps. Sea levels have dropped significantly, revealing new land areas. Interglacials, shorter warm periods, have begun occurring. Fjords started to form from U-shaped valleys in the glacial areas. Rivers and lakes formed, and an ice age happened during this period. Mammals have dominated the Earth, and among those mammals, humans exist. And that was Earth's history. I hope you enjoyed this presentation.